This is not a conspiracy theory. This is a brand new historical discovery made just days ago. The dense foliage of a remote Pacific island was ripped away by a typhoon, exposing a massive, secret bunker network that was never supposed to be found. We have exclusive insights into the strategic implications of this forgotten complex. For 80 years, the island of Isla de Ceniza was nothing more than a green dot on a map, a place U.S. intelligence bypassed in 1944, labeling it strategically insignificant. But as Super Typhoon Yagi's 180-mile-per-hour winds stripped the mountainside bare, it revealed something that shouldn't exist: a Type A heavy command center etched into solid rock. This wasn't just an outpost. It was a desperate final defense strategy that was never documented until today. We are analyzing how this accidental discovery changes everything we thought we knew about regional logistics and the terrifying final act the Japanese Empire was preparing to launch. When the clouds finally parted, the first satellite passes didn't show the lush canopy we've seen for decades. They showed a scar, a series of perfectly geometric concrete slabs and blast doors, hidden beneath layers of soil and root systems that had been undisturbed since the Truman administration. As the first survey teams touched down on the jagged coastline, the air changed. The usual tropical humidity was replaced by a draft of cold, metallic air blowing out from the mountain's new womb. This is the dead zone. We push past the collapsed heavy steel doors, and the scale becomes terrifying. We aren't just looking at a bunker. We are looking at a subterranean city. This is a Type A facility. To put that in perspective, these were the Fort Knox installations of the Japanese Empire, usually reserved for the defense of Tokyo or the High Command in Okinawa. Finding one here, hundreds of miles from the main front line, is like finding a skyscraper in the middle of a desert. It makes no sense unless the maps we've studied for 80 years were intentionally misleading. We enter the Level 1 logistics hub. Here, the beams of our flashlights hit the chrome of a Type 95 Kurigane scout car. It sits there, perfectly preserved by the lack of oxygen, its tires long since disintegrated into black dust, but its engines still greased. There are rows of them, but here's the mystery. There are no roads on this island. There never were. Why would the Imperial Army store a fleet of transport vehicles on a rock with nowhere to drive? As we move deeper, we find the barracks. We see rice vats and pressurized cooking equipment capable of feeding 3,000 men. Official Allied records from 1945 stated that this island was only home to a small radio squad of 50 soldiers. Where did the other 2,950 men go? The answer began to emerge as we reached the intelligence vault. On the desks, we found the 97 Shiki cipher machines, the legendary Type 97 green machines. These were the Japanese equivalent of the Nazi Enigma. Finding them here suggests this base wasn't just receiving orders. It was a nerve center capable of coordinating an entire fleet in total radio silence. How did they fuel a city of 3,000 people and a fleet of aircraft in total secrecy? The floor of Level 3 is flooded with knee-deep groundwater. As we wade through, we find a series of massive iron pipes leading toward the ocean side of the mountain. These pipes lead to a vertical shaft that drops into the dark. This is the heart of the mystery, a hidden submarine pen carved directly into the coral reef, accessible only from below the waterline. This explains the logistics impossible of the island. This was a ghost port for the I-400 class submarines, the massive underwater aircraft carriers. While the world's eyes were on the firebombing of Tokyo, this mountain was preparing for Operation Cherry Blossoms at night, a plan to launch biological weapons against the U.S. West Coast. Historians thought the plan was abandoned because they lacked a staging ground. They were wrong. The staging ground was right here, hidden by the jungle until a storm tore the curtain away. But the most haunting part isn't what we found. It's what we didn't find. There are no signs of a struggle. In the commander's office, a fountain pen sits on a desk next to a half-empty bottle of safe. A duty roster on the wall lists the names of every soldier. Next to every single name is a red stamp. Shitsumu, relieved of duty. The date of the last entry, August 17, 1945, 2 days after the Emperor's surrender. They didn't surrender to the Allies. They didn't commit ritual suicide. They simply disappeared. 3,000 elite soldiers and pilots vanished into the Pacific night, likely picked up by the very submarines they were servicing. They sealed the doors, planted fast-growing vines, and let the jungle do the rest. As the sun sets over the island today, the jungle is already beginning to creep back over the concrete. But the maps and ciphers we found are now being analyzed by naval intelligence. We are cross-referencing those names to see if any of those 3,000 men ever made it home, or if they are still out there, living under different names. The Pacific is vast, its secrets are deep, and sometimes it takes a monster of a storm to show us the monsters we left behind. Would you like me to add a part 2 teaser at the end to encourage viewers to subscribe for the follow-up investigation?